What if every single Johto Pokemon had a regional form? Well, let's find out thanks to Pokemon Form Edition. Hey everyone, Brandon here, and welcome back to another region review where we review different regions around the Fakemon community. As I said, today we are going to be reviewing Pokemon Form Edition's Johto region, where every single Johto Pokemon has been given a regional form, as well as some regional fakes, and even some brand new Pokemon. So let's hop right into it, and first up we have Chikorita, which is the Dragon type. This Chikorita is known as the Fin Pokemon because there is a fin replacing the leaf that, Chikorita is iconic for. I like how the little buds along the neck have been changed to these spikes to really add into that dragon typing. After that, we have Cyndaquil, which is also the dragon type. Do you guys see where this is going? As far as design goes, I really like this draconic collar that it has, very webbed feeling, like a wing of a dragon. I kind of wish that it was coming out of its back, like the original had the flames coming out of its back. I'm sure there's some kind of greater design purpose that this serves later on down the line, but I just felt like, I don't know, I kind of wish that the back, it emulated the original a little bit more. It almost feels armadillo-esque with the almost plating that it has going on. I wonder if it'll become the steel type at some point. I don't know. Then we have Totodile, which is also the dragon type. So they went for a dragon type triangle. And dragon type, this Pokemon is Holy Spikes Batman. It is the ultimate spiky dragon. It looks ferocious. This little Totodile is no longer the, pleasant, happy-go-lucky Totodile we know. It still looks happy, but it still looks ferocious. Red is one of my favorite colors, so I am partial to this Totodile, but we'll see how these things evolve before I pick. Okay, so we straight up don't even have a Bayleaf. This is called Sawtears, and it is a Dragon Steel type. I should note all these Pokemon so far have had the ability Raging Scales, which acts like Torrent, Overgrow, or Blaze, which gives them, extra damage to Dragon type moves when they have low HP. I enjoy how we're going a split evolution branch with this rather than going to the next stage and then splitting it. It's like a Wurmple situation where it goes from Cascoon and Silcoon to Beautifly and Dustox with just a full split. I really like the simplicity of the steel type with this Pokemon, just having some very sharp features like its fin and these kind of brass knuckles that it's going on along with the spikes along its collar. After that, we have Jestruff, which this is such a vast difference from Quilava, not even close to the same kind of Pokemon. And honestly, it feels like a massive leap from Cyndaquil. I won't even lie, I didn't see this coming at all. It feels a bit too advanced design-wise for a middle stage in my opinion. This feels like something that could be a final stage on its own. I should note, a lot of what Pokemon Form Edition is cool. They have their own personal style infused into a lot of this, which I find really enjoyable. And that sometimes means that some of these Pokemon are a little more designed than a traditional Pokemon would be, but that's not a bad thing. I just want to point that out. But Jestruff is really interesting. It is a Dragon Dark type, so we have Steel and Dark so far, looking like it's not going to be another perfect type triangle for the secondary types, but who really cares? Honestly, half of the Pokemon, their final evolutions, don't have a perfect type triangle, and I don't know why we keep getting this idea that they have to. They don't have to. It's cool when they do, but they don't have to. It's not like these are the only Pokemon we get and we're going to be facing off head-to-head with them for the rest of the game, Sorry, personal complaint. I just find it annoying when people are like, but the types are in balance. It's who cares? You can get other Pokemon if you're so scared about the type imbalancing. I don't know. Next, we have Dracro, which is a dragon fighting type. So we have Fighting Dark Steel. So definitely Totodile has the type advantage in this triangle between Dark and Steel. It's definitely this shape, a reverse V of Totodile being able to take on Jestruff and Sawtears. I won't lie to you. I don't know if I even need to see the final stage to say that I think Totodile is definitely my pick in this region. I also will say yet again, this feels a little bit too final stagey for me. I feel like the proportions could be just a little bit more compacted and then it would feel more middle stagey. Regardless, it's a sick design. I really like it as an evolution to the Totodile form we just saw. And for the final stage of the Chikorita line, we have Hellgold, still a Dragon Steel type, and this thing is so edgy, in the most literal definition. These gold accents added to the end of this line are really cool because it's, the yellow against purple. It's a really complementary color scheme. Also, its helmet acting as an axe is just so awesome. That's just the definition of cool. After that, we have Puppetdra, which honestly, that sounds like a Digimon name. Just add MON at the end of that. Puppetdramon. That sounds that is such a Digimon name. I love that. What I don't love is this thing's face. This thing scares me. I don't like it. In the Pokemon world, there are a lot of Pokemon that look like you want to be their friend, and there are some that don't, and this definitely falls into the latter category. This is like the it Pokemon. Like Pennywise the Pokemon, and nope, not for me. Design-wise, it's great, but as far as me wanting to have it as a Pokemon, no, thank you. The nightmares. It's just, I could not handle it. Also, I'd like to point out, I'm pretty sure the marionette that they're using is based on a beta Pokemon. I don't remember the name of it, but I'm pretty sure it was a beta Pokemon from Johto that didn't end up making it into the game. I think it might have been later been inspired Banette or even Mimikyu. I don't know. It looks very like a beta Pokemon to me. And then finally we have Savigator, which great name. Like we had Feraligatr, but now we have Savigator. This thing is sick. I definitely made the right decision when I said I wanted to pick Totodile after seeing the secondary stage. I am happy with my choice. The layers of crocodilian plating along its stomach looking like abs is so funny, but also so cool. This thing definitely has like a 10-pack, like almost a 12-pack even. After that, we have Sentret, which is a fire flying type. I love this. I like the little brush of fur, like just changing the little fur in the middle of its stomach to have like a little bit of a like unruliness to it, but also make it look like a fire at the same time. So great. If you've been a fan of the channel for a long time, you know that I'm a fan of just simple yet effective changes, and this one definitely has all of those. Shorter ears, fire stomach, slight coloration changes make all the difference. Also, the fact it's trying to emulate a balloon, like kind of having like the tail act as the string and then its body act as the balloon itself, kind of like Drifloon-esque, I guess, because you know Drifloon is a balloon Pokemon. But you know, it's like the silhouette of a balloon, and I like that. It evolves into Furret, which is crazy. Its tail is evoking a hot air balloon. It's going full Drifblim with it as well. And yet again, I love the changes to Furret's pattern. Like instead of it being like white brown, it's now like orange red yellow, and that makes it feel very fire type. It's just a simple little thing, just a simple little change. Also, its little cheeks looking like, you know, cheek pouches of, you know, rodents in general, but also looking like it's full of air, full of hot air, which is coming into its tail to make it fly. Next, we have Hoothoot, which is a psychic flying type like we all wanted this line to be. And it looks like it has an exclamation point unknown, like fused with its head, which, I mean, I guess would make sense for the psychic typing considering unknown are all psychic type. It acts as a third eye, and the fact that it's an exclamation point is a little bit interesting considering the other two eyes are kind of little heavy looking. The eyelids are lower. It looks tired, but the third eye is at full attention. It's an exclamation point. It's like ready to go. It's like you know, the freaking Metal Gear Solid sound effect. It looks like in its dex entry, it does say that the unknown merged with this Pokemon. I don't know what that process looked like, but apparently they gained vast knowledge from it and the psychic typing. Whoa. Whoa. This thing is nuts. This is Known Owl, not Noctowl, Known Owl. Which is like unknown, but it's known. It's a known owl. But it's interesting how it goes from an exclamation point to a bunch of question marks because it's known, but it's also putting out a bunch of questions. Anyway, this thing is wild looking. I love the kind of look of an owl kind of coming from its chest. These two little things, and then like it just looks like another face on top of its one eye, like Cyclopsian face here. This thing is really nutty looking. It almost feels Ultra Beast-esque. After that, we have Lediba, which is a bug fairy type, and it's got little stars all over its body. I love this. Also, it feels even more like bulbous. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels, it's just a little bit more circular, and, you know, I love a round little guy, so this is great for me. And then we have Ledian, which is also a bug fairy type, and this thing is so pretty. The little star pattern coming out of its antennae, it almost feels like, you know, the original Ledian kind of feels Super Sentai-esque. This definitely feels more Sentai-esque with the little star. It's almost like Power Rangers Zeo in that way. It's very superhero, which Ledian already was superhero-esque, but this just like turns that up to 11, and I just adore that about this design. And it evolves again. This one's Starletty. Holy crap. Okay, when I said it turned into 11, this turns into like freaking 20. Apparently, this Pokemon evolves from Ledian when it sees a shooting star, which is such a cool evolution premise. It looks like it's cast off its shell and almost is using it as some kind of shield or almost like it's about to roll on it like a ball, like at a circus or something. Regardless, I love how much of like a celestial being this feels like. One thing I wish though, the background is really working against this design. You can really hardly see the really cool yellow elements against the kind of almost greenish yellow background. I kind of wish that was shifted a little bit, because this is a really great design, but it's kind of overshadowed by the fact you can't really make out the silhouette of these yellow parts. After that, we have Spinarak, which is a bug dark type, and oh, this is so cool. I like the bug dark typing. I kind of wish it was bug ghost because that is a skull. I mean, skeletons and stuff like that are dark in and of themselves, but skulls and skeletons feels more ghost type to me. But regardless, this is such a cool design. I'm pretty sure it's based on a specific kind of orb weaver that has just like a thorax that just very much looks like a skull. Also, do I see a little line here? Is that supposed to be its mouth right here? Because I love that as a mouth placement, because he's just like a little guy with his like mouth in between his eyes. I love that kind of design aesthetic, kind of alien hominid-esque. Holy Ariados. Holy Ariados. Holy Ariados? Holy Ariados. What in the world? Like, Ariados, in the list of Pokemon that are like, forgettable, I would definitely put Ariados in that list. It just doesn't really do much. It's from a region that was like kind of a sequel region. Johto is great, but I feel like a lot of the Pokemon get overshadowed unless they got some kind of evolution later on down the line. But this is crazy. Like the ghastly energy, funny because I said that it should be bug ghost type, but it's actually bug dark type. It is the demon Pokemon, so I guess that dark type does make sense because I feel like demons are more dark and malevolent than they are ghostly. Also, I love this single, like, what is it, pincer kind of thing going on. Actually, it looks like one of Pincer's horns, but it's supposed to be like an Oni's club. Very epic, very intimidating. I would even put Intimidate as one of its abilities, but apparently one of its abilities is Cursed Body. I would say alternate ability, Intimidate, because that thing is intimidating as heck. Next, we have my guy Crobat, and it is an electric flying type. Oh, this is cool. You did my boy Crobat well. Crobat is like my all-time favorite Pokemon. There's been some debate between it and Hawlucha for a while, but like Crobat has just been up there for forever. So did my boy justice. I also should say that Pokemon Form Edition is by L Dark Core. Go check out their profile as well. They have different the Pokemon Form Edition is made by them. It's just a separate account, so make sure to go check out L Dark Core as well. Design wise, what do I even say? It's just like the Super Saiyan 3 hair, the little bottom wings that are supposed to kind of be like legs, evoking lightning bolts, the wings themselves evoking lightning bolts, the almost like, we just had an Oni Pokemon, but it's got that kind of Oni underbite going on, the intimidating eyes. The coloration almost feels Pikachu-esque if you changed those purplish grays into more of a brownish gray. It almost feels Pikachu-esque. I love everything about this design. Definitely going on the team, 100%. I actually kind of want to put Ariados on the team as well. That bug dark typing is pretty appealing to me. After that, we have Chinchou, which is a water grass type. I really like this. Actually, like my first impression, I usually try to think about something before I actually talk about what the Pokemon is, but the second I saw this, I was just like, this thing is awesome. Taking the little lures of Chinchou, instead of making them like electric type, turning them into these bioluminescent seaweed, like, amazing. It fits onto this design very naturally, and I'm excited to see Lantern. Lantern doesn't exist. This is Algafin, like, it's supposed to be like algae plus fin, but where Lantern was dolphin adjacent, this is full on turning it into some kind of dolphin. It's almost like a manatee-esque in its design. I like it a lot. It's like a bottlenose dolphin mixed with a manatee with seaweed in there. It's amazing. After that, we have Zichu, which is radiation type. We kind of had to deal with the radiation type in the last region, but this is the pre-evolution to the Pikachu form. And it is also based on the beta version of Pichu. It's interesting because it almost feels like Meryl, like because it's bulbous, it has the little cheek pouches. Generally in like the little ball tail as well. It feels very Meryl, which is funny considering so many people think that Meryl is a Pika clone. which it isn't. Next, we have Clefar, which is a fairy flying type, and it is once again based on the beta version of Cleffa. I love that. It's just gone full star. It just is a star. It kind of reminds me of like Twink from Paper Mario, as well as like a Luma from Super Mario Galaxy. It just has that kind of feeling to it. I also love how it's a star, but then it also has like a little star on the top of its star. It's like, I heard you like stars, so we put a star on your star. Then we have Sugar Puff, which is a fairy ice type. It's the pre-evolution to the Jigglypuff form that we saw in the previous one, which I'm pretty sure was like ice cream based. I'm not certain if this is also based on a beta version of Igglybuff, but this thing is adorable. It looks like it's almost like clear glass, like sugar glass. There's definitely not like a single thought in whatever brain this thing has. I mean, it's see-through. I don't see a brain in there, so head empty, just head completely empty. Next, we have Puppery, which is a ghost fire type, and I'm pretty sure this is based on the beta pre-evolution to Vulpix that was supposed to happen. And yeah, the Vulpix and Ninetales in Pokemon Form Edition Kanto had them more Inari based, so this is just kind of further playing into that. This kind of Kitsune mask going on, and the white versus blue coloration is very great. Once again, I wish the background was more contrasting. It just kind of, I feel like we lose a lot of the intrigue of the coloration in this design because the background is a similar color. It's a small note. It is a small note. It's like, it's inconsequential when it comes down to it, but I would like this design to like pop against the background a little bit more. After that, we have Pudyro, which I'm pretty sure is also another pre-evolution to Growlithe, which I don't know if, was that a beta? I'm pretty sure there was a beta pre-evolution to Growlithe as well. Regardless, it's fire poison type, and I love that. I love its little kind of bib that it has going on here, but also looks like a little poison drenched as well. The slobber coming off of it is almost like neon green colored, really evoking like, oh, this slobber is definitely going to poison me. It even says so in its dex entry that its saliva is very toxic, which I didn't even need to look at the dex entry to tell that, so good job on the design story there. Also, in general, this thing's just adorable. Look at this guy. I want to cuddle him, but I'm afraid I would get deeply poisoned. After that, we have Kitter, which another beta pre-evolution to Meowth. This one is radiation type, and yeah, I'm pretty sure the Meowth and Persian of Kanto were also radiation type. It's called the Unwanted Pokemon, which is so sad to me, but it looks like it was kind of like basically a genetic radiation mistake. Like the radiation caused Meowth when they were, populating to come into this like deformed state, almost like radiation deformities and stuff like that. You can definitely tell because it looks like this Pokemon is just straight up melting. After that, we have Parant, which another beta pre-evolution. I'm fairly certain that there was going to be a little guy, little pre-evolution to Paris without the mushroom, and this is basically that. It's a bug ground type, and it's very Dwebble. It's very like you flip the Dwebble upside down, which it tracks. Like a lot of people think that Crustle is basically what Parasect would look like if it didn't have the mushroom and you added a rock instead. So this is kind of like in the vein of that. Also, its name is Parant, and it's the baby Pokemon, which is just kind of funny. After that, we have Togepi. What happened to you? Oh my gosh, it's poison fairy type. I love that this looks like an Easter egg, but like it's just like this vast goo coming out of it. It's like what a real egg, if you broke open a real egg, what it would look like if you opened it. But more so like what if you broke open a like rotting egg, a spoiled egg, as it were. This is what it would look like if you opened one up. So apparently this is what happens when the parents of this Togepi were sick before giving birth to the Pokemon. What other crazy stuff happens when the parents are sick of other Pokemon and give birth? What? After that, we have Togasick. I love that play on words, but also, oh, poor baby. It just looks like it's made of a glob of disgusting poisonous snot. It's just a snot baby. You thought it was a Togetic, but it's not. After that, we have Natu, which is a normal flying type. You know what I really appreciate that they did, and I don't know if anybody noticed it, is that Natu and Xatu were Psychic Flying, and they kind of acted as almost secondary Route 1 birds in a way. And then Hoot Hoot and Noctowl were normal flying, and they acted as the main Route 1 birds. But what they did is they switched their typings, which I adore. And this Natu is so cute. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be giving off the kind of like the birds that like dip their head into water, the little, I don't know what the words are, but the toy ones that go like, you know, like, do you appreciate my sound effects? I hope you like that. I hope it really put you in the scene there. Either way, this dude is adorable. If he weren't normal flying type, which is a fairly not useful type, especially for a 2-stage Pokemon, I would add it to the team based on pure cute factor alone. After that, we have Watu, which is Watu. After that, we have Watu, which is normal water type. And I love that, just completely getting rid of the flying type, because why does this Pokemon need to fly? It doesn't. It's just gonna dip into the water forever and ever and ever. This looks like it would run like a Lego character walks, you know, like in a 2D anime, just like the boop, like, you know. Also, I love that it just has a hat. That's not even plumage. That's not even trying to be plumage. It's just a hat. It's just straight up a hat. Then we have Mareep, which is a poison type. I really like this for this Pokemon. The coloration is really cool. The little skull implication on the top floof of its head. Top floof of its head. That doesn't seem okay. Anyway, it's really great. And also like the tail looks like it's carrying some kind of toxins within it. Really enjoy that. Also, it's just kind of like a toxic poisonous smoke cloud. I like that it's kind of sitting like, I'm pretty sure Flaffy sits in some of its sprites, and it feels very much like that. Then we have Flaffy, which is just oozing. It's oozing like snot out of the toxic plume, and it's green now. I like the switch from how Mareep is usually like yellow and blue, and then Flaffy is just like pink, and now it goes from that to purple and green, which are complementary to each other. And the kind of skull pattern on the head floof, as I said so eloquently, on the head floof is even furthered and like is coming more down into its face. I wonder if the final stage will just have it completely covering its face. Either way, this thing is vile looking. Not in like the cute factor, it just looks like you wouldn't want to touch this dude. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. We've gone full Baphomet with this design. That's nutty. It's not even called Ampharos. This is Venomair, and it is a poison dark type. This is once again a Pokemon that I personally wanted on my team, but I don't feel like it would be my friend. Just like the hollowness of its eyes is so creepy and intimidating, as well as that like demonic red, black, and purple coloration. No. After that, we have Groomoot, which I believe is supposed to be kind of like the Blossom equivalent, because I'm pretty sure the Oddish line was Grass Ghost type before, and so this is kind of like that the split evolution for that line. I really like how it switched to the silhouette of this Pokemon, where like Blossom had the kind of skirt going on below. This has kind of a skirt going around its head, almost like a wedding veil, kind of like La Llorona kind of thing going on there, or the Corpse Bride, I guess, would be a more known reference. After that, we have Marill, which is a water psychic type now. This Marill is straight up pondering its orb, and I love that. Literally just such simple changes. Change the color of its body, change its tail to be like a mystical orb that it ponders, has little space texture to it, and now you have yourself a psychic type. And then we have Orb Marill, which is definitely a name. It describes what it is. It's a Marill with an orb on its head, and it is not Azumarill. That's crazy. The yellow in this design, I feel, is misplaced. I feel like you could have made the yellow into the white of the stomach. I just feel like yellow doesn't feel like another, like, it's not in any other part of this design, doesn't feel like it meshes well with it. That's just my personal opinion. But it kind of looks like a snowman. It kind of looks like, like you have the bottom layer and then the middle layer and then the top layer is the orb on its head. After that, we have Sudowoodo, which is a steel type, and it's based on like electrical lines. I like that a lot. there's really not much more to say. The design is pretty self-explanatory. It's just a Sudowoodo with electrical line basis, and it fits. It just works. After that, we have Polyvibe, and yeah, this dude's a vibe for sure. It is a poison fire type evolution to the kind of Poliwag line that we had from the Kanto version. It's giving me Naruto vibes. It's giving me Cyclos vibes from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I love a nice, like, kind of gruff, almost cocky looking frog. I don't know what it is, that vibe. I just mess with it. I like it a lot. After that, we have Hoppip, which is near unrecognizable. That is crazy. That looks almost like a Digimon baby stage or an in-training stage or something like that. It's very, very cute. It just doesn't feel like Hoppip to me anymore. It just feels like a fully, like, different Pokemon with the same core concept. It's very cute. Don't get me wrong. I love the design, and it feels like it's based on cattails, maybe? The plant cattails. And it evolves into Catnop, which is like, it's supposed to be catnip? I don't know. The cattail, like its tail looks like a cattail, as well as it's grass fairy type. I didn't mention that, but it's grass fairy type. So we're fully leaning into the cat vibe that Hoppip was like introduced, and Skiploom kind of brushed past and then fully is abandoned by Jumpluff. So, but this line fully leans into that cat aesthetic started by Hoppip. It's very adorable. It looks almost like Skitty to me. Like if Skitty and Hoppip had like a crossbreed situation. Then we have Danditten, which doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. It's a little hard to say. But it is like a whole cattail. Like its tail is a whole cattail, and it feels like Jumpluff still, like in its coloration, but it's a literal dandelion as well. I quite enjoy this design. I feel like this is kind of a design you might see in like Gen 9 or Gen 10 even. We could see something to this effect. I could very much imagine like Catnop and Danditten in like a Gen 10, like just a two-stage grass fairy type cat line. With that, we have a straight up brand new Pokemon with Kotora, which is based on the beta Pokemon that was never released, which was actually supposed to be an electric type, but they have made it fire type in this instance. Just simply changing the little lightning bolt that was on its chest to a flame, and then making it more traditional tiger colors really evokes that fire typing. This Pokemon feels like beta Incineroar, basically. It's almost like if you mixed Incineroar and Spheal. That's what it feels like. It evolves into Litora, which feels like beta Torracat. Even down to the little fire on its chest. It just looks so happy to be here, and I am so happy that it is here, honestly. Then finally, we have Fangtora. This is what a lot of people wanted Incineroar to be. They wanted it to be quadrupedal so bad. This is so awesome, though. Like, the little tip of fire on its fur and on its fangs is so epic. I definitely feel like I would have this line on my team for sure. After that, we have another brand new Pokemon called Cubter. I'm unfamiliar with if this is a beta Pokemon or not. It feels like I don't remember seeing something like this in the beta. Maybe I'm incorrect, but you guys can tell me in the comments. But this is cool. It feels like some kind of Meowth form to me in its like general facial area. It feels like a middle stage between Meowth and Persian, kinda. Regardless, I like the whiskers being like kind of waves. I would remove this aspect. This feels like, you know, its little head thing feels a little too much. It feels very Pokemon to have, but it just feels like it's a little too much in this design. I kind of want that part to be removed so that the tail gets a little bit more focus for being all long and round. Kind of feels like it takes away from that. And then we have Ligaqua, which sounds like the setup to a Ligma joke. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Ligaqua because like it's Liger, but this is cool. This is very cool. It feels Pyroar-esque while standing on its own as this really flowy water-type cat. I really like that. It feels very regal. It very much stands in line with like Solgaleo and Pyroar in the kind of regal lion feel. Then we have Aipom, which is a steel type, and it has magnet pull. It looks like a Magnemite is trying to be born out of its tail, which is kind of terrifying. It's interesting to me because the design shift here almost makes it feel like it could be a steel version of the elemental monkeys, like the Pans and the Simmies, just because of the simple changes to its like design, having that like metal ball be its tail and then the kind of like plumage at the top of its head feels very in line with the design tropes of the elemental monkeys. After that, we have Sunkern, which is now a grass ground type, and this thing is cool. I wonder what kind of plant it's going to turn into, because it doesn't seem like it's going to turn into a flower. Based on it almost looks like a pea pod. Are we going to get like a Jack and the Beanstalk situation here? Because that would be really cool. I was right, and this is not even Sunflora. This is Stakeen. I'm curious what the name basis is there, because I could see, is it supposed to be Stalkeen? Because I feel like Stalkeen makes sense because it's like a beanstalk. And then like it's just the inverse of that. But it's Stakeen multiple times in the dex entry, so I feel like personally Stalking makes more sense to me, like just kind of fusing the words stalk and bean. But anyway, design-wise, really cool. It feels in line with like Arboliva in that way of like just a thing that feels like it's firmly rooted but could move. I feel like if this thing moved, it would move almost like Diglett adjacent because it's grass ground type, so you could just go under the ground and then come back up somewhere else. After that, we have Yanma, which is a bug water type now, and just another one of those things where it's just simple changes. It looks like it is like the shiny coloration of Yanma, making the glasses a little bit more like edgy, I guess would be the word, just like more angular. Adding this little drop of water that it's holding, and its wings. It's just little tiny changes that make it feel still like Yanma, but at the same time add that water type again. A lot of the time when I do see dragonflies, it's usually in kind of swampy pond areas, so the bug water type definitely makes sense on this Pokemon. After that, we have Wooper, which is an electric type, and I love this Wooper. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. It looks like some kind of little light bulb, almost, like Tadbulb adjacent. And they are both electric type amphibians, so I guess it would make sense. It evolves into Bulblottle. Oh. This is so not at all like a Clodsire or a Quagsire. This is something entirely different, and it's an electric dragon type. This almost feels like a beta Pokemon. Like, was there like some kind of beta evolution to Wooper that I forgot about? It feels very beta Pokemon adjacent. After that, we have Kerstraw. Oh wait, this is the beta Pokemon. That was a beta Pokemon, and this is a regional form of that beta Pokemon. It's a Ghost Steel type. That's so cute. It's like a little straw doll knight, almost like action figure, but like it's made out of like a straw doll. I just adore its face. This is like a Pokemon plush that I would have for sure. If Kerstraw existed, I would definitely have like this version of it as a Pokemon plush for sure. It evolves into Metacurse. Okay, that is so cool. This feels like something you would see in like what is it, Shovel Knight or Hollow Knight, a lot of the Knight games, or even freaking Dark Souls, Elden Ring. This feels like something you would see in that vein. I just noticed that isn't a sword, but that's a giant curse snail, like the one from the move Curse. I love the idea of the silhouette being a sword, but it's not actually a sword. He probably uses it as a sword, but then it's like, nope, this is a nail, and I'm gonna drive it through you. I'm going to impale you. And I really adore really cute things like Kerstraw evolving into these epic things like Metacurse. Then we have Murkrow, which is a fighting flying type. And I'm trying to figure out, is this supposed to be like, oh, it's a beatboxer. Oh, interesting. Okay. Evoking, like, okay, yeah, it's beatbox, like, that, it's interesting because it's like you separate the two words. It's like beat as in like beat down, and then box as in like boxing. But when you put them together, it makes beatbox, which is in and of itself an action. It's interesting to me using musicality as a form of the fighting type. That's something I haven't really conceptualized before, but I find that really cool. Like that, those combinations of words being like, oh, isn't it something inherently musical, but it also those two words separately could evoke the fighting type really well. After that, we have Slowking, which is Ghost Water type. And that shell is just, that's the Pokemon now. It's not, Slowking doesn't exist. Oh. I just noticed its eyes underneath the shell, and that's terrifying. That's like one of those pictures where it's like looks completely normal until you see there's one little thing that's off in the background, and then it becomes completely terrifying. That's this Pokemon. I do like its general silhouette though. It still feels very Slowking, but like the changing of the shell to be more helmet-esque is really cool. Next up, we have Mischievous, which is a dark fire type, and that is such an Oni. It's not even funny. Like or almost like an Asura, like very the fangs coming out and then the horns, and it just looks very brutish. It's very cool, and I'm really excited to see whatever the Mismagius equivalent is. After that, we have Unknown, which are Dark Psychic type, and I'm pretty sure these are Alpha and Omega. I'm pretty sure these are the symbol for Alpha and Omega. And I'm interested, like, are they regional forms? Are they, like, special incarnations of the Unknown? It's unclear. Regardless, they're cool. I like that they've inverted the color scheme as well as made the like eyes like bloodshot to really evoke that dark typing. Oh. Hi. AOT spoilers real quick. What the freaking heck? What is it? Looks definitely like the thing from AOT. And it's called Chainone. It's Dragon Psychic. That thing, that's crazy. That's insane. It also almost feels like the Molgera from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. A lot of Wind Waker references here. This thing is definitely terrifying, and I would not want to encounter it in a dark room. After that, we have Wobbuffet, evoking the kind of ghost sprite from Gen 1, I'm pretty sure. That's so interesting. Also, the little tail that's supposed to be the real body is not exactly hiding. It's like in plain view. It just puts, it's almost like it's putting its butt first. Like if you flip this thing upside down, like the Wobbuffet part would be the butt. Either way, it's a nice reference wrapped into a regional form, and I like that a lot. After that, we have Twins. Is there some kind of beta giraffe rig thing? Because that's what it seems like. It feels like some kind of beta giraffe rig form. It also like looks like kind of, isn't the symbol for Pisces like that? I'm incorrect. I was thinking of the symbol for Cancer. It's very poison type. I like the general concept of two clashing types being fused together to form that type combo. It in fact does evolve into Giraffe Rig. And this thing is nuts. The design of this Pokemon feels like it took a page out of the forms for the Johto starters of this region. Like spikes and kind of like draconic plumage and interesting spiny fur. Also, the tail feels like Gengar straight up. It just looks like Gengar fused to this Pokemon. After that, we have Pineco, which is not a pine cone. That's a rock, bro. That's a straight up rock. It is a bug rock type. And it almost, it's like almost like a literally Geodude. Because like Geodude is, you know, it's Geo plus dude, but it also sounds like Geode. Geodude is not a Geode. This is a Geode. It has like the crystals on the inside. So it's like literally an incarnation of Geodude. Then we have Fortress, which is a bug rock type as well. And it looks more like a pinecone than Pineco. I really like that actually. It's like a flip on the Pokemon's evolutions. Kind of like how Poltergeist and Sinistcha did, where they flipped the names of the evolutions, but the evolution style kind of was similar. Oh. It evolves. Crystshell. Okay. I like that. It's called the Crystal Bug Pokemon. Ooh, I'm pretty sure I already have a bug on my team, or else I feel like I would add this. This is really neat. This is another one where I feel like it would be in Hollow Knight, you know? It has that like there's some kind of, I mean, there is a mineral level in Hollow Knight, so yeah, this could fit right in there. Next, we have Dunsparce, which is a water dragon type. This dude is plump. He had been drinking his water. He's hydrated. He's thriving, moisturized, and is lane. This feels even more like the Tsuchinoko, which I'm pretty sure this thing is based on. Like, it's called the Tsuchinoko, right? I'm very excited to see what Dunsparce looks like, but we're still like 7 generations away from that as far as the form edition goes. Never mind. I don't have to wait. This is Tunradra. So this actually was made, I think, before Scarlet and Violet came out. So it's kind of crazy that they kind of got it a little bit. I mean, it's more draconic, but the kind of keeping the bulbous nature of the Pokemon was still there for sure. I like it. It kind of feels like the Blue Dragon Sea Slug. Is that what it's called? The Sea Dragon? Yeah, it's called the Blue Dragon. Yeah, it feels very much in line with that, just like a fusion of that with the Tsuchinoko. After that, we have Gligar, which is a dark electric type. I love Gligar, and you just made it so much more epic. The little lightning going between its ears that almost feel like horns now, and like the shape of its claws and the tail having a little lightning bolt coming out of it. And the coloration, the black and yellow, the black and yellow coloration is so cool. I really want to know what Gliscor looks like, but I have to wait 2 more generations. It also has Levitate, by the way, which for a dark electric type is so major. I would throw this thing on the team if it evolved into Gliscor, but I want to know what Gliscor looks like too. After that, we have Steelix, which is a steel fire type, and this thing is so cool. It looks like it has a bunch of forged blades like coming out of its body. Like this thing is the forge. Like it goes around and blades are forged out of its body and just left behind for blacksmiths to hone and make into better blades. I dare say this would really be a cool monster to hunt in Monster Hunter. Like I could imagine the armor you would get off of this if it were in that game. After that, we have Snubbull, which is Ice Fairy, and it's just a little bit more plump. It's a little bit more floofy, just to kind of, make it seem like it would survive in that kind of temperature. I do like how it kept its fairy typing, because it does feel still very cutesy. Even though, like, Snubbull was a fairy typing, but it was so interesting how Snubbull is the fairy type, and it's, like, supposed to look almost ugly, but it is cutesy in every other factor, and this definitely still feels in line with that. And then we have Granbull, which is also Ice Fairy type, and this looks Abominable Snowman-esque. And it's very Abomasnow silhouette shaped. Definitely the kind of Pokemon you wouldn't want to run into on an icy mountain. After that, we have Quillfish, which is Psychic Poison type, and it looks like its quills are detachable, and they're like kind of floating there, and it's almost like it is the orb to be pondered. I also like how the tail is shaped to look more like a heart with almost like a halo above it. I could honestly see that as like some kind of bottle of perfume or something. Actually, you know what? It looks like a spade. It looks like a spade, like from cards, like poker cards. After that, we have Sycalore. Is this an evolution to Scyther? That's like, it's bug dark. I'm so in shock about how epic this is. I really like how they use sickles instead of like the axes of Cleavor or like the kind of pincers of Scizor. This is like something completely different, but also feels in line with other Scyther evolutions. It very much leans into the night kind of vibe of Mega Scizor. Mega Scizor kind of has like that kind of knightly helmet look to it, and this very much leans into that. I could imagine this in Elden Ring, 100%. Like, this is an Elden Ring enemy if I've ever seen one, and it's sick. I love it. This actually looks a lot like Cyriledge, and this came out before Cyriledge, so basically you predicted Cyriledge here? That's crazy. Then we have Pinsirath, an evolution to Pinsir. Ooh, okay. Okay, bug fighting. Don't know if I agree with the type. This is wholly a bug ghost type feeling. It has like bones coming out of it and a skull face. Don't really get the fighting typing from this really at all. It's a really cool design though. After that, we have Shuckle. What did you do to my boy? What is this? Oh God. I feel like I'm looking at something I shouldn't be looking at. What in the world? Is this what's inside Shuckle? Ooh, this is like when people imagine what Diglett looks like underneath. This is like what's inside Shuckle. Ugh. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like some kind of Medusa type thing. Oh man, I feel like I'm encountered some kind of eldritch god I was not supposed to see. Like this was not supposed to be seen with mortal eyes. For the record, it's bug radiation type, which makes complete sense. Next, we have Heracross, which is bug steel type. Ooh, I like this design. Ooh, I like this design. It's like an executioner, and its horn is the axe that gets brought down by the executioner. This design is such an interesting little shift. I love the little shift in this design, because it is Heracross. All they did is change the coloration a little bit, kind of make the carapace look a little hood-like, just kind of separated out there, and then add a little axe to the horn, and now it's an executioner. That's so good. Also, I'm a huge Heracross stan. Like, I loved Heracross in Johto, and I wish it were easier to use in playthroughs of Pokemon. I feel like it always comes a little too late in the story to actually be of use in most Pokemon games, but I love using it when I can. I already have a bug type on the team, but I want this so bad. Also, bug steel type, quad weak to fire. Decisions. Oh. Herapalton? Is this supposed to be like Paladin? Oh no, it's like Platinum. It's like Platinum Paladin almost. This thing is so cool. It's like Pinsir and Heracross had a baby. This is so cool. Man. Dude, like Eldarkor, Pokemon Form Edition, you got to get into designing some like Elden Ring bosses or something like that, because you got the touch, dude. This thing looks straight up like an Elden Ring enemy or something like that. I love that. Like if there was some kind of like insectoid themed area in Elden Ring, I haven't fully played through Elden Ring, so if there is that, then don't blame me. But if there were, or if there is, this would fit in there for sure. Also Hollow Knight. I mean, it doesn't even need to be said, but like Hollow Knight, yeah, we do that. Next up, we have Sneasel, which is Grass Water. A complete flip of typing, because it was like Dark Ice before. I guess Dark isn't a flip of Grass or Water, but Ice is a flip of Water and Grass, I guess. Completely different feeling to this Pokemon. It looks very chill, which is ironic considering it's not the Ice type anymore. Its claws looks like they're leeks. It's almost like this Pokemon was made to like harvest things. Like its natural claws would be like a form of sickle to harvest grain or something, or even like harvest kelp at the seafloor. So, you know, make some sushi. After that, we have Teddiursa, which is a water ground type. And kind of, was this before Legends Arceus? I don't know if it was before Legends Arceus, but ground type fits on the line as we know. And this is interesting. Is this supposed to be like evoking a water bear, like a tardigrade? Because that kind of feels like that's what it's trying to do. Also, it looks like it's rubbing its butt on the ground like dogs do. After that, we have Swabear, which is a water ground type. If this came out before Legends Arceus, they wholly predicted quadrupedal ground type Teddiursa evolution, which is kind of nuts. It says 104 weeks ago. I can't do math. I'm the design demi guy, not the math demi guy. Don't know. This design though has 100% cuddle energy, and I live for that. Like, I want to cuddle this dude. I want to lay on top of this dude. He looks cozy as heck. After that, we have Slugem. That's an interesting one. It's not the same kind of use of G, which makes it a little hard. Slugem. Yeah, I mean, Sludgem makes sense because it kind of looks sludgy, but I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a pre-evolution to Slugma. It's cute and very Goomy adjacent, which, you know, I love Goomy, so, you know, I like it. After that, we have Slugma, which is exactly what I thought. It's a rock ground type, and it has little gems coming out of it. I like that. Little gems hidden in the sand. A hidden gem, if you will. And then we have Makar Gold, which is certainly something. I honestly can't say I'm a fan of the design because it's very, very obtuse looking. It doesn't feel like a slug. I feel like I would have flipped the head. Like, the head is like also an issue for me. It's like it looks alien adjacent, and I feel like if you had shifted the head so it felt more Macargo-esque, where it, like the shell was the giant gem, I feel like that would have translated a bit more in my opinion. Even keeping the head, like just making it so that it's on that like little side, you can see this to the right, it has the little trail of sand there. If you had maybe moved it over there, yeah, can't say I'm a fan of this one, but good concept, interesting concept. Next we have Swinub, which is an ice fire type, and it looks like it has a little Gemini Swinub like fake thing. What is this supposed to, is this supposed to be like a trap? Like, I'm interested. It's like ice on top of, it's like an ice sculpture creator, so it seems like this is supposed to be like some kind of substitute or something like that, so that you hit that before you hit the actual Swinub, which makes sense because that definitely does look like the original, and you would definitely mistake that for the actual body of it. Then we have Piloswine, which gives the pile part of its name a whole new meaning, because it's piling another Piloswine on top of itself. It still feels like Piloswine. It feels like there's heat radiating. Like, I think that it's interesting that it's a shell of ice radiating heat. It's kind of got that like igloo effect to it, After that, we have Corsola, and it is a poison rock type, not a water rock type. And it is based on a different kind of coral. I can't remember the exact name of coral this is, but I'm pretty sure this is a different kind of coral. Or are those anemone? Anemone? Do you know anemone? Either way, still feels like Corsola. Slight change. Poison rock type. I dig the type combination. I dig the coloration change. And the slight pattern changes to it. And it's a cool form. After that, we have Remoraid, which is a water poison type now. And what? This dude has a straight up poison tipped blade coming out of his head. It doesn't feel in line with the rest of the design, if I'm being completely honest. It kind of just feels like an interjection, like someone stabbed a poison tipped knife through this Pokemon. I suppose it's supposed to be like kind of a pun of bringing a knife to a gunfight, considering Remoraid is supposed to be, was like originally gun shaped. I personally feel the knife could have been incorporated a little bit better, a little bit more cleanly. Because it just feels like you just stabbed a Remoraid. Then we have Siscorp. Is this an evolution to Remoraid? Remoraid evolves into Octillery, so who am I to judge? What in the world is it, though? I can't even recognize it. It looks like some kind of prehistoric, like, arthropod of some kind. It's almost like an Ultra Beast. Like, this feels like Poipole, Naganadel. It's cool. It's a cool design. I just was not expecting it. After that, we have Delibird, which is fire flying type now, which, honestly, you didn't have to change all that much, you know? It's like the red being changed to orange, and then the kind of fire coming from its plumage. Also, it looks like it throws bombs now rather than pleasants. They're not pleasant. They're not pleasant presents, that's for certain. So it looks like it throws a smoke bomb or a fire bomb, depending. So I guess you could either have your accuracy lowered, or you could be damaged. After that, we have Headfetched, which is a rock normal type. Oh, is this supposed to be based on the beta Farfetch'd evolution? It looks like it's a royal knight that look those knights that stand there and fan the queen, like that giant leek thing that it has. I don't even know if that's a leek. But the vegetation that it has looks like it's supposed to be some kind of fan that they stand there and guard the queen while fanning her. Its ability is Sturdy, which I feel like it should be Rockhead because his name is Headfetched. So Rockhead, rock type, head Pokemon. You see what I'm saying? After that, we have Mantine, which is a ghost flying type, and I love this. Whoa, that's so cool. Because yeah, if you looked at this, if you saw this from above, like when you're in a boat and you see this thing skulking in the water from above, those glowy, neon green eyes and mouth, you would think you had seen a ghost, a water ghost. I mean, it is ghost flying type, which makes sense, but it definitely looks like some kind of phantom. Like, I love that silhouette. I love that so much. After that, we have Skarmory, which is steel electric type now. And yup, it is. That's all there is to say. This is, everything is a lightning bolt. Everything is sharp and edgy. It is steel electric type. There isn't much more to say about that. I do like it. I like it, and it is steel electric type. And those are the two things that it is. Next up, we have Houndour, which is a dark ghost type. And it kind of feels almost like, I don't know, like Thylaxine, like the Tasmanian wolf adjacent in its kind of coloration. I mean, like, it's more head than body, but it's interesting, the chains. I'm trying to figure out what this is supposed to be inspired by. Is it supposed to be like Christmas Carol, like Ghost of Christmas Past, something? I can't exactly, I'm not finding the inspiration. It just looks, I mean, it's another one of those that just, it looks like its type. It's a dark ghost type dog for sure. I'm not seeing the inspiration. And then we have Houndoom, which is a dark ghost type still. And this thing is really cool. I like it. I like the chain coming from its like neck. It almost feels like hollows from Bleach. You know how the chain comes off and then the whole hole is left there. After that, we have Dradna, which looks like it's supposed to be a alternate evolution. It's not Kingdra, it's Dradna. It's Dragon Psychic type, and the like see-through, it looks like ribs, innards, lung of some kind, is so creepy. Also, it has like a second set of eyes, it looks like. This is a Dragon Psychic type, and it's messing with my mind for sure. After that, we have Fanpy, which is a flying type. Ah! I love this. Freaking Dumbo energy, flipping the type from a ground type to a flying type, kind of opposing types. Love that. Another example of simple little changes, making the ears bigger, changing the little coloration on these pads on its ears. Gold, just gold. And then we have Dawn Fan, which is a kite. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I was not expecting that. He looks like a kite, but he also kind of looks like a helicarrier. Oh my gosh. Also, its tusks are now like aerodynamic wings for it to be like almost a plane. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I want to add this to the team. I want this on the team, 100%. Then we have Porygon 2, which I'm pretty sure the original Porygon in Kanto was supposed to be like a wooden duck toy. And now this is becoming more of a realistic wooden duck toy with a little pulley to it now. Which, if you've seen how Porygon 2 moves in Super Smash Brothers, like the way it's like little, actually, I guess you could see it in the games itself. Like the way it's like feet turn like wheels. This makes sense. It's grass normal type, which, you know, you can definitely get that from the coloration. And also it's made of wood. So, you know, wood, grass type. Then we have Stantler, which is dark poison. Interesting. Okay, I would have gotten... I almost feel like Dark Psychic, you know, fits really well because of those eyes. I mean, I guess the eyes do also evoke the Dark type, but, like, I don't know. They're really creepy eyes, and I feel like they're very intimidating, but I almost want them... Yeah, like, the crystals inside them feel Dark or Psychic type to me. Maybe I'm just biased because Stantler always felt like a Psychic type to me, and then, like, that we had Weird Ear, which was normal Psychic. Either way, I like this. I do feel like the stars on the side were just a complete, like, just not necessary. Like, we already have like a moon crescent shaped tail and then these big eye antlers. I feel like it almost takes away from the main feature of the Pokemon design. You know, that's just my opinion. Then we have Smeargle, which is electric normal type. And it this is every Fakemon artist ever. Oh my gosh, Eldarkor, was this you? Was this you while making this region? Was this what you looked like? It also almost looks like they look like a digital artist, which I'm assuming is the electric normal type. Why the electric normal type? But it also almost feels like a tattoo artist in a way, with the way that comes to a point there. Also, its ability is called Art Block, which is just it's excellent. Next, we have Tyrogue, which we had Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Actually, I don't think they were Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. I think there was something different. But yeah, this is basically a pre-evolution to those. It's fighting water type. The other ones were fighting water type. I love the Psyduck floaty to this. This just feels like a human child, just a straight up human child. Next, we have Hitmontop, and I think this is supposed to be based on those like water jetpacks that you can do over the ocean, like using the water to propel water propulsion, one of those words, but it's based on one of those, I'm pretty sure, which I think is really cool because I think the other ones were like surfing, and then there was one, what were they? They were like a surfer dude and a swimmer. It doesn't feel right. I don't know. And fun fact, this was the last Pokemon of the region until about a few weeks ago when I contacted Pokemon Forum Edition, said I wanted to review the region, and then they got inspired to continue the region and finish off the Johto region, and now they're starting on the Hoenn region, actually. So I'm very happy that me just saying that I wanted to review this region stoked the flame of finishing this region. Very happy about that, and thank you Pokemon Forum Edition and Eldarkor for finishing out this region so I could review the full thing. So with that said, here is Smoochum, which is a ghost normal type. I'm pretty sure Jinx was some kind of ghost type. I'm pretty sure it was ghost normal as well. It has a little poppet, which it looks like, doesn't quite look like original Smoochum, but it looks adjacent to original Smoochum. I love its big, gaudy dress. This feels like, you know, toddler beauty pageant kind of gone wrong vibe. After that, we have Ice Kid, not Elekid, Ice Kid, pure ice type. And you know what? It's nice. It's nice. It's ice nice. Ice, not ice. Nice. I love the shaggy hair covering its eyes, and it kind of feels like a shaggy dog or / abominable snowman vibe to it. I really want to see what I was Electivire. I guess what would it be? Icefire. I'm excited to see what that is. Then we have Aquabee, which I don't remember what the name of the Magmar. I think it was Aquamar or something like that. But this is the baby version. This is Magby, but in aqua form. I like this. It feels very ducklet mixed with Quaxley vibes. It actually feels like a bird, unlike Magby, which just is like evoking a bird. And same with Magmar. Magmar is like duck-esque, but not exactly a duck. This is very like, no, this is a duck. After that, we have Millalien. Oh. I don't like the way it's looking at me, guys. I don't like the way it's looking at me. So, not Miltank. Definitely don't want anything coming from the udders of this Pokemon. It's Radiation Psychic type, which for sure, I can see that. Playing on the idea of cows getting abducted by aliens. I don't want to stare at this thing for too much longer, or I fear I may be abducted tonight. If you guys don't hear from me, no, it was Millalien. After that, we have Blissey, which is a Steel Psychic type, continuing that kind of robot theme from Chansey. I believe that was had like that robotic theme. I love this. It's just like a little healer droid, a little help droid, like futuristic. If there were, you know, like super futuristic Pokemon, this is basically like a future Paradox form for Blissey. Then we have Animon, which is another beta Pokemon. I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be an evolution to Ditto. It's Steel Radiation type, which tracks. It looks like it also has another little beta Pokemon coming out of it. I can't remember what that beta Pokemon is, but I love that beta Pokemon. I actually made a Fakemon inspired by that Pokemon. I do truly think it's interesting that this is the unstable Pokemon, because like Ditto in and of itself, its DNA was unstable, and that's why it's able to transform into a bunch of different Pokemon. It was like a mutation. Like a lot of people theorize that it was a failed attempt at recreating Mew, and that's why it has like the DNA of all Pokemon that it can transform into. But I love the idea that when it evolves, all of that DNA that it has stored within it becomes super unstable, and it cannot maintain its genetic form, and so it becomes all of them at once in some kind of weird amalgamation. After that, we have Everion, which is the Radiation type evolution to Eevee. Terrifying. Terrifying. This looks like something you'd see in like a Junji Ito manga. Like, what in the world even? Like, the fact that it has so many mouths, and then it has a mouth underneath one of its mouths. No thank you. Having a Radiation type Eevee evolution feels like it makes a lot of sense considering how unstable Eevee's DNA. We've had 2 unstable DNA Pokemon in a row here, but how unstable Eevee's DNA is evolving into a Radiation Pokemon like this makes sense, but is so freaking creepy. Next we have Larvitar, which is a dragon type. Yes, it is the dragon type pseudo legendary Pokemon we never got for Johto. Considering pretty much almost every other pseudo legendary aside from Metagross is dragon type, or at least part dragon type. I like how things still feel a little bit edgy. Like it still has this like rocky part to its middle, but everything feels a little bit more smoothed out, but still draconic at the same time. Then we have Toothatar, no Pupitar, Toothatar. What? This thing is wild looking. It's even more edgy. Is it going to be a Dragon Steel type? Because it feels like it could be Dragon Steel. It's very almost like a sword, like some kind of, or a shield, or sword and a shield. Wait a second. No, it becomes Raidonitar, which is a Dragon Fire type. With the name like Raidonitar, I figured it would be Radiation, Dragon Radiation type. But I'm not complaining, because this is something completely different than Tyranitar. Aren't wyverns the one where the arms are the wings? Yeah, I really like how this thing feels steel plated, but at the same time, those like the edge feathers on the arms feel very feathered. It feels very feathery, while at the same time feeling almost steel type. Is this supposed to be like Rodan? Is that like the play on words? Is this supposed to be like Rodan, the kaiju from, I believe, Godzilla? Either way, incredibly epic, and one of those pseudo legendaries I would love to have on the team if Larvitar was available a little bit earlier in the game. Then we have Raikou, which is a steel type, not an electric type. I feel the steel type fits this very well, considering like the electric type is very like jagged edges and like lightning bolts and stuff like that. Raikou originally isn't like that, but it still feels like it's steel. Haha, it still feels like a steel type, with its like edginess at the same. It's also got like a star shape to its head, I'm noticing right now. I'm pretty sure this was designed way in advance to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and like the DLC coming out, but this does feel very much like a Paradox version of Raikou in a way. Like the way its tail comes out feels very like dinosaur-esque. Then we have Entei, which is an ice type, and oh, I love this design. God, I love this design. Like the floofy coat being turned into like this almost like avalanche of fur coming down its body, and like the way that the crown comes up. This is a bad reference, but it's like the Ice King from Adventure Time, but like in the most epic way possible. It just feels so regal, and the crystals on it, like all over it, feel very royal but icy at the same time. I just love this regional form. Then we have Suicune, which is a poison type, and it goes full on Manticore. I love it. The one thing I don't agree with is like the crystalline structure on its head. I feel like it just feels a little bit out of place in this otherwise very smooth and elegant design. But aside from that, like I just really like that it went full Manticore with it. Then we have Lugia, which is a ghost dragon type, and this thing is so cool. I am 100% Lugia over Ho-Oh in my opinion. I love Lugia so much more, and this thing is so intimidating. I mean, when we got XD001, like Dark Lugia, I was so a fan of that. I did wish we could have gotten a Ho-Oh equivalent, but this is just yet another version of Lugia that I adore so much. The energy that this radiates is so malevolent and phantasmic, and it's just incredible. I love this design. And then we have Ho-Oh, which is ice fairy type, and oh, this thing screams, yells from the rooftop, elegance, eloquence, royal, regal. I love it. This is so drag. I love it to death. Like, I want a drag queen to emulate this look so bad. Like, this looks it's so regal. I love it. Really knocked it out of the park with the forms of the box legends for this region. And then last but not least, we have the Bug Psychic Celebi. This is such like a regional fake, you know, like a convergent Pokemon. Like it's so crazy to me. Like it's almost like stealing the silhouette of Celebi for some malevolent purpose. It's Bug Psychic type, and it's called the Wormhole Pokemon, which I just adore because it's like a pun. The Wormhole Pokemon, and it's in and of itself, it's a bug. I know that worms aren't bugs, but you know, they're bug adjacent. Either way, this form, regional fake, convergent form, new Pokemon, whatever it is a great cap to an already great region. So once again, thank you so much to Pokemon Form Edition for letting me review this region, as well as make sure to follow El Darkcore over on Instagram as well, who created this region. And thank you to our incredible members whose names you can see on screen for supporting this channel with their hard-earned money, which you can also do by hitting that join button. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.